How's it going, everyone? Mega Mash here, and in this video, we are going to be reviewing Hoopa. Hoopa? What is a Hoopa? A Hoopa is a mischievous little shit that likes to cause a lot of problems, not just in real life, but in battles too. This thing has a gigantic base 150 special attack, and to top all that crazy shit off, gets access to Nasty Plot. Nasty Plot is a move that boosts your special attack by 2 stages, which means with 150 base special attack, access to Nasty Plot, and a plethora of special attacks. Oh man. Battling against this thing, once it's set up, it's going to get real ugly. Your Pokemon team is going to get splattered all over the wall after this thing sets up. So, with that being said, let's analyze this mischievous little trickster. So there it is. There is Hoopa. This thing even looks evil, but it's such a cute little ghost at the same time. Speaking of ghosts, the typing that it gets is Psychic and Ghost, which is a first-time type combination ever in the history of Pokemon, and I'm pretty damn pumped about this. It has an immunity to normal and fighting, and a resistance to poison and psychic. Now, as for its weakness, what the fuck? Holy shit, that's not good. That is not good. It has a 4 times weakness to Ghost and Dark. That means if you get Pursuit Trapped, you are fucked. And if you get Sucker Punched, you are fucked. If you get caught with Shadow Sneak, you are fucked. That is not good. You really need to play around those types because they're very common in battle. But it has redeeming qualities due to the fact that it has immunities and resistances. So, you know, it balances out, but really, you gotta watch yourself on that. As for the ability, it gets Magician, and it's very appropriate for this Pokemon to have Magician, based on the fact that this thing likes to steal and hide things through its little portal ability things. Those fucking golden rings on its body has the ability to open up portals and take things and transport them to different places and whatnot. So it makes sense that this thing gets a Magician. And what Magician does is if you're not holding an item, if you attack an opponent and they happen to still have their held item, guess what? You steal it. You steal it. That is fucking ace. That right there is a built-in thief. Awesome. As for the stats, let's just take a look here. So it has 80 on the HP, 110 on the attack, not bad, 60 on the defense, stinky. 150 on the special attack, damn, that's huge. And you know it's even just, well, I shouldn't say just as huge, but you know it's almost as huge, is at 130 special defense, meaning that this thing can take special hits, I wouldn't say all day, every day, but this thing will be hard to take down on the special side, and that 70 speed. Oh man, okay, so it's not the fastest, but this thing is also a pretty decent candidate for a Trick Room Pokemon. So, with all that being said, it's time to move on to the first set idea I got for you. Woo! So speaking of Trick Room, this happens to be the first set, and it's based around the fact that this Pokemon is quite a deadly Trick Room sweeper. Shout out to Matty Brawlick, by the way, who is one of the best trainers ever to utilize a Trick Room strategy, base it around Mega Steelix, and just fucking wipe the floors all the way to the ranking of number 8 out of 500. That's awesome, man. So, the item for choice for Hoopa is going to be Life Orb to allow you to have a 30% boost in the power of your moves at the cost of 10% of your health. The ability, well, its only ability is going to be Magician. And in this situation, it's kind of going to be useless unless you somehow lose your Life Orb or whatever. Then Magician can be of use. But until then, it's a useless ability, and that's okay. As for the EV spread, 252 is going to go into its HP, 4 into defense, and 252 into special attack. We'll go with the Quiet Nature to lower your speed and increase your special attack. And under this circumstance where you want to be a Trick Room sweeper, you want to have your IVs be at 0 attack and 0 speed. That way you can be quote-unquote as fast as possible under the effects of Trick Room. And speaking of Trick Room, that happens to be its staple move right here. Now, what Trick Room does is it creates a weird dimension for 5 turns in which Pokemon that are normally faster than you actually outspeed them for 5 turns. So that means it completely ruins any speed-based strategies, which is awesome. So the next move choice is really up to you. We have Hoopa's signature move known as Hyperspace Hole, and what this does is it's a base 80 power special psychic type move that doesn't miss. But here's the thing, its power points are only 5. So that's pretty sparse for a move like this. That's why if you are not a fan of sparse PowerPoint moves like Hyperspace Hole, we have Psyshock. Psyshock kind of acts as a pseudo wall breaker because what this does, it's a special type attack that deals physical damage on your opponent. So that means that all those Blissies, all those Chanseys, all those Floriguses will be severely damaged thanks to Psyshock's nifty ability. But we have the slightly more powerful Psychic, which is more powerful than Psyshock and Hyperspace Hole. It's 90 base power, special, and it's just all around powerful, especially backed up with the fact that it has maximum special attack with a base 150 special attack and Life Orb boost. Oh man, that's going to hurt like a bitch. And speaking of hurting like a bitch, the next move that we have is Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is such a lethal move for Hoopa. Not only because of the fact that it's stab, but it goes very nicely with psychic type coverage. And speaking of coverage, its last move, Focus Blast, fighting and ghost type moves have unresisted coverage. So you could actually have just the combination of Shadow Ball and Focus Blast, and you cannot be walled out. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's cool as hell. And this is also a great way to have a defense against Dark-type Pokemon that would prey upon your 4 times weakness. So you want to bring in your Tyranitar. Well, I hope that your Tyranitar loves to eat a 4 times super effective Life Orb boosted Focus Blast right to the chompers. I really don't think he's going to appreciate that. Not a single damn bit. So with that being said, this set looks pretty damn cool, and I cannot wait for this Pokemon to be released. I need to use it. I need to use it. Right meow! So, that being said, so I'm going to move on to the next set. So this next set that I got to introduce you to is something that pays off big time if it works out well. So the item for choice for Hoopa is going to be Salac Berry. And what Salac Berry does is when you're at 25% or below of your HP, Salac Berry activates and boosts your speed by 1 stage. And trust me, you're going to need that speed boost to be able to outpace a good portion of the metagame. That is if you're playing in the OU tier. As for the ability, we'll go with Magician, and Magician is actually going to work well in this situation, because say if you consume your Salac Berry, your Magician ability is going to be free. So if you attack, and you're mostly going to knock out your opponent, but in the process, you'll steal that held item, and use it to your advantage. That right there is just that extra bit of salt into the wound. You salty, bro? I can taste the salt. It's very salty. As for the EV spread, 4 is going to go into its defense, 252 into special attack, and 252 into speed, and we'll go with the timid nature to further boost your speed. So the first move that we have is going to be Substitute. And what Substitute does is at the cost of 1/4 of your health, you make a decoy that protects you from the likes of status moves and also prevents you from having your held item being tricked away from you. The next move that we have is Nasty Plot. So Substitute and Nasty Plot, very lethal of a combination. Nasty Plot, as I alluded to earlier, boosts your special attack by 2 stages. So after a single Nasty Plot boost, you're nearing 800 on your special attack. That is immensely crazy. The next move that we have is going to be Shadow Ball for very reliable Ghost-type stab that will do a number on anything that doesn't resist it. And I mean a huge-ass number. And the last move that we have to round off perfect coverage, we got the Focus Blast. Now, Focus Blast has often been known as Focus Miss. And I agree. But you know what? This is the best chance of survival if you are one-on-one against a Tyranitar or against a Bisharp or any Pokemon that is of a dark type and has access to Pursuit. You do not want to get Pursuit, trust me, you will die. So that's really all I have to say about this set. Once you set up that substitute and nasty plot, and then you get whittled down to a quarter of your health, and Stalk Berry activates, you are just going to be a lean, mean, sweeping machine with the added benefit of possibly stealing one of your opponent's held items and making really good use of it. So that's really all I got to say about this set. Now, you guys are thinking, well, is that it for Hoopa? Is that it? Well, you guys are going to see in just a moment. So just get a good look at this true terror. When I first seen this thing, I thought that it was going to be Hoopa's Mega Evolution. But get this, it's not. It's just an alternate version of Hoopa. You know what that means, right? That means this thing's item slot is free. That is scary. Aside from the design, which is also scary, there is plenty of reasons to be scared when you run into Hoopa Unbound. The typing that it gets is Psychic and Dark, which the only other Pokemon that gets this type combination is Malamar. Now, your only means of resistances happens to be an immunity to Psychic. However, you are weak to Fairy, and you have a 4 times weakness to Bug. That means you cannot afford to take a U-turn, otherwise you will die. So the ability that it gets is the same as Hoopa Confined version, whereas this is Hoopa Unbound. You get Magician. Now, I've already explained what Magician is, so we'll just skip right past it. As for the stats, it has 80 on the HP, that's still the same. Its attack stat goes from 110 to 160. What in the actual fuck? Oh my god, that's insane. That is absolutely brutal. The defense stays the same at 60. The special attack goes from 150 to 170. This thing can be a very lethal mixed attacker. Very lethal. The special defense stays the same at a very respectable base 130, and the speed goes from 70 to 80. So that's actually a little bit better, and it puts you in a more respectable speed tier. So with that being said, it's time to go over some sets for this absolute monster. This first set that I present to you for Hoopa Unbound is going to utilize the same strategy as regular Hoopa. We are going to be turning this Pokemon into a very respectable Trick Room threat. So the item for choice for Hoopa is going to be Life Orb to allow you to have a 30% power boost at the cost of 10% of your health. The ability is once again going to be Magician because that's the only ability it has. As for the EV spread, 252 is going to go into its HP, 252 into its attack, and 4 into defense, and we'll go with the Brave Nature to increase your attack and lower your speed. And the IVs in this set, you're going to want to have a speed IV of 0. That way you can be as slow as possible so that when you get Trick Room up, you can be as fast as you can under the effects of Trick Room. And speaking of Trick Room, that's going to be its first move, which, as I said previously, creates a dimension for 5 turns in which Pokemon that would normally outspeed you move after you. That means that you get to outspeed any Pokemon that's faster than you regularly. This is also a very good way to mess with speed-based strategies. The next move slot, you can either choose between Hyperspace Fury and Knockoff. And unlike Hoopa Confine's signature Hyperspace Hole, Hyperspace Fury is actually a very useful move. What this does, first off, it's a move that never misses. This move also hits through the effects of Protect, King Shield, Detect, Spiky Shield, and it's an absolute mess. It's also a Dark type move, and it's base 100 power. This thing just completely murders anything that is not prepared for it. But of course, the alternative to Hyperspace Fury is Knockoff, because this does provide very nice utility in which you end up removing your opponent's held item, and also you get that nifty 50% power boost from Knockoff. So that's also pretty good too. So do you want slightly more power with Hyperspace Fury that breaks down protect-based strategies? Or do you want to be a utility check and remove your Pokemon's held items with Knockoff and have virtually the same effect and power if you end up using this attack on a Pokemon that has their held item. It's really up to you and what you want. Plus, Knockoff has more power points too. The next move that we'll be using is Brick Break. Brick Break is a solid base 75 power fighting type move that smashes through Light Screen and Reflect. So this does have some pretty redeeming qualities about itself, and I have to say, honestly, Brick Break is a highly underrated move. Sure, it's not as good as, say, Super Power, Drain Punch, or Hammer Arm, but if your opponent likes to throw up those light screens and reflects, well, Brick Break says, fuck you, smash! And it's done. And the last move that we have is Gunk Shot. Okay, what the hell is this thing doing learning Gunk Shot? Gunk Shot is a immensely powerful poison type move that hits for physical damage and is base 120 power. And based off the fact that it gets 160 base attack, oh my god, fairy type Pokemon are going to be destroyed by Gunk Shot. Destroyed! That means bye bye Sylveon, bye bye Clefable, bye bye Florges, bye bye Azumarill. Oh my god. That's just insane. And that is what will make this Pokemon extremely terrifying to face in battle. With all that being said, it's time to move on to another set. So this next move set that I'd like to introduce you to is going to completely obliterate any unprepared teams. The item for choice for Hoopa is going to be Life Orb to allow you to have a 30% boost in the power of your moves at the cost of 10% of your health. The ability is going to be Magician once again. As for the EV spread, 4 is going to go into its defense, 252 into its special attack, and 252 into its speed. And we'll go with the Timid Nature to further boost your speed and lower your attack. The first move that we have, Nasty Plot. Nasty Plot sets up your special attack by 2 stages, which turns you into a murderous beast. And with a base 170 special attack, oh my god, you're hitting well over 800 with a single Nasty Plot boost. That is scary. And speaking of scary, the next move that we have, Dark Pulse. This is a very effective and very powerful special type move. Base 80 power, dark type, it's special. Not to mention, this thing has a 20% chance of flinching your opponents. That is also pretty niche as well. The next move that we have is Focus Blast. Focus Blast deals major damage to the likes of Tyranitar and Bisharp and any other dark types that want to stand in your way. And the last move, it's really up to you what you want. We have Psyshock to allow you to have a pseudo mixed wall breaking capability, but we also have Psychic for slightly more power on the special side and also for stab. But you will not be able to target Chansey or Blissy's weak physical defense. However, with a Nasty Plot boost, it's probably not going to matter because that right there is just terrifying power. Absolutely terrifying. Oh boy. But with all that being said, it's time to move on to the next set. So in this last move set here, we are going to be utilizing the ever so deadly Sub-Salac combo. And speaking of Salac Berry, that happens to be its item of choice. And what this does is when you're at 25% or below of your health, Salac Berry activates and you boost your speed by 1 stage, which is very respectable considering that with a Jolly Nature and full speed investment, you hit 284 speed. And with the boost from Salac Berry, you hit 426. That is pretty good. That is actually very good. It puts you in a very respectable speed tier. And the ability we'll be using is going to be Magician, and Magician can actually be usable in this set because when you either lose or use your Salac Berry, the next time you attack an opponent, you will be able to steal their held item and use it to your advantage. So as for the EV spread, 252 is going to go into its attack, 4 into defense, and 252 into speed, and we'll go with the Jolly Nature to further boost your speed and lower your special attack. The first move that we have is Substitute, which at the cost of 25% of your health, you create a protective decoy in which it protects you from the likes of Leech Seed, stat drops from the likes of Intimidate. It also protects you from having any status afflictions preyed upon you, Not to mention, this also protects you from having your items tricked away from you. So Substitute, very good move to have. The next move slot is really up to you. We have Hyperspace Fury, which breaks through the likes of Protect, Spiky Shield, King Shield, Detect, and this also never misses too. Not to mention this is base 100 power, but the only disadvantage is the fact that it has 5 power points, so you really need to use this move sparingly. Of course, the alternative is Knockoff, and even though it's base 65 power, it gets a 50% power boost whenever you remove an opponent's held item. Not to mention this move also has more power points and provides a better utility check as opposed to Hyperspace Fury. It's really up to you and what you want to use. The next move that we have is Gunk Shot, which completely slaughters Fairy type Pokemon that think that they can switch in and Moonblast you to oblivion. Not with Gunk Shot. You get destroyed and Gunk Shot to oblivion. And lastly, we have Brick Break. Brick Break are for the likes of Bisharp and Tyranitar, which would otherwise cause you problems because they could two-hit KO you with their stab moves. So that's really all I have to say about this set. Oh man, I cannot wait for this thing to be released. I am just chomping at the bit right now. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to use Hoopa Confined and Hoopa Unbound. Those Pokemon are going to be completely awesome in battle, in my opinion. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and even share this video to all your friends, as this really helps out the channel and the rest of its contents. If you want to see more videos like the one that you just saw, then hit that subscribe button to join the Mega Express today to become a valued passenger on this wild and epic ride through the Pokemon world. Also, be sure to leave me your feedback in the comment section down below about this video. Tell me if you liked it, tell me if you didn't like it, tell me if there's something that I missed, and also be sure to leave me your requests at any time in any video in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Finally, don't forget to check out Poketown, Cat's Epic Pokemon Cloning Group, Pokemon Central, and Pokemon Destination Valley, which are all amazing groups that I will leave links to in the description box down below. And finally, question of the video. When these Pokemon get released, what tiers do you think that these Pokemon will be in? For me, for Hoopa Confined, sorry, I think that with access to Nasty Plot and unresisted coverage moves and a base 150 special attack, it might be too strong for the underused tier, but in OU, it will get completely annihilated by Pursuit users. So I'm thinking that it might start out in underused, but I can see this thing get banned pretty quickly, in my opinion. Now, Hoopa Unbound, that is another story. That thing is fucking scary. This thing is a completely brutal attacker. Oh man. I think that this thing will definitely be OU. For sure. No questions asked. So, there you have it, guys. That's all I have to say about this video. Have yourselves a good one, and I shall see you guys next upload.